Okay, welcome everyone to our small talk. And today's small talk is on early schools in Transcona. And this talk is presented by the Transcona Museum. My name is Jennifer, and I'm the assistant curator, and I will be leading our small talk today. And behind the scenes with me is Alana, our museum curator, and she'll be letting me know if you have any comments or questions throughout the talk. So if you do have any comments or questions, please put them into the comment section below, and we'll do our best to answer them. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that the Transcona Museum resides on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, as well as the homeland of the Métis Nation. Just a thought, if you're interested in supporting the museum during this time, there are many ways in which you can. So you can support us by perhaps making a donation or becoming a museum member. Both options are available through our website. You can also support us by staying in touch. You can visit our website at www.transconamuseum.mb.ca. You can follow us on social media. We are active on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, blog. Apparently we have a Reddit account. And you can also join our mailing list. We have a monthly e-newsletter that goes out at the beginning of the month with information on events and programs and all other sorts of wonderful things. So like I mentioned, today's talk is on some of the early schools that existed in and around the Transcona community. And we're going to start with Central School, which was around from 1912 to 1994. And this photograph here is a drawing from the Manitoba Historical Society. We have a photograph here from our museum archives showing Central School after the additions were put on with the wings on either side of the school. And just as a reference, the Transcona Museum is right here at the corner of Regent and Bond. And Central School was located right over here on Day Street. A little bit of history on Central School. The additions were added to the north and south sides of the school in 1958 and 1959. In 1961, senior grades were relocated to the Transcona Collegiate Institute, and the building was henceforth used for elementary grades. In '94, work was required in order to repair the school's crumbling structure, but it was decided to demolish the building in '95, and it was replaced by École Centrale. The Montavista School right here, which was from 1879 to 1935. And this right here is a model of the school that is actually in our museum collections. This is the only reference we have to the school. We don't have any photographs or anything like that. And as a reference, it was located up here, or one of its locations was up here by the Gun Road and Day Street. It was known also as the South Springfield School. And the South Springfield School District was established formally in September of 1879, and a log schoolhouse was erected near the residence of Robert Gunn near Gun Road. The building was later purchased in 1882 and moved to where the CNR Victoria Beach subdivision crosses the Gun Road, or the beach track crosses the Gun Road. The first teacher appointed was Miss Maggie Patterson, and her class enrollment was 17 boys and 4 girls. And her pay was $40 a month. A new building was constructed in 1893 at a cost of $700 near the junction of Gun Road and Day Street. So where that little mark is right here. So that's the second location. And the old building was sold for $300. Following the founding of the town of Transcona in 1912, and after the construction of Central School in 1912, the district was renamed in 1913 to the Transcona School District. The school was subsequently renamed the North School on account of its relation to the newly built Central School and its geography in the district. Its proximity to the nearby CPR North Transcona yards and the surrounding North Transcona area led many people to refer to this as the North Transcona School, causing considerable confusion because there was an adjacent North Springfield School District, which also had a North Transcona School. Instruction went up to grade 8, and it was offered at the Montavista School until 1921, when the district began transporting students from the vicinity of the Beeman Post Office to this school. An 8-foot expansion was added to the structure to accommodate the growing student body, and instruction was eventually capped at grade 6. And within a few years, this was further scaled back to just grades 1 to 3. The school would finally closed in December of 1934, and students were sent to Central School. The last teacher to have charge of the school was Miss Mildred Hammond, who together with about 30 students were transferred to Central School in January of 1935. The building was sold to a local resident and was used as a tool shed. And as far as I'm aware, no building, this Montavista School does not remain to this day. Suthwyn School was around from 1888 to 1960. So this image here is of the first school, the first Suthwyn School. And the second image is the new Central School that was built. A fun photograph of students in Central School. Another image of students standing outside Central School and Suthwyn School. We did this talk a number of weeks ago, and we had a woman comment that it was her mother, I believe, and my mouse is not available, but she was one of the young girls who are in the back of the photograph in one of the white dresses. This image here is of the second Suthwyn School with the teacherage that was later added on. So the teacherage is the building to the left. And as reference, Transcona is up here to the upper left, and our red marker here is Suthwyn School. It is actually in the location of the floodway, so it's the property used to exist on no longer exists because it's the floodway, but that's about its approximate location. The Suthwyn School District was organized in 1887, and a new school was built the following year along the Suthwyn Road. And this school was a blessing for many families, as their children had to walk across fields and swamps to get to the Montavista School. A one-room schoolhouse was located on the east side of the Red River floodway off Suthwyn Road 59 North. The first teacher appointed was Miss Phoebe Collins, and her class consisted of 9 students. By 1920, the schoolhouse was in desperate need of repair, and at first students attended the Springfield School in South Transcona for 2 years, and were later transferred to the Oak School for a further 2 years, so 4 years of repairs altogether. With the repairs being done by 1924, although 10 years later, a new building was constructed in 1934. In 1934, the decision was made to build a new and larger schoolhouse on the original site, as now 40 students attended the school. The new building even had a full-size basement, and when completed, there was a big reunion of former pupils and teachers. And for a brief time in the 30s, a mission van was given permission to hold weekly meetings at the school, but this was discontinued when a parent thought the school was no place for religion. In 1953, a 3-room cottage was purchased for $1,500 to be used as a teacherage, because for a 5-year period, one female teacher actually lived in the school and used the boys' cloakroom for a bedroom. The school and property were later expropriated in 1960 for the purpose of constructing the Red River floodway. The schoolhouse was resold twice that year, and a third buyer moved the building to Copeland Street in South Transcona. The teacherage was sold and moved to Lake Winnipeg for a summer cottage, and the school district was dissolved in 1964 and later became a part of the former Transcona Springfield School District. So now we'll talk about the North Transcona School, which was around from 1914 to 1952. And this image here comes from the Manitoba Historical Society. And there's my mouse. I believe it is this building right here in the foreground is the North Transcona School. A bit of a reference, the North Transcona School was located along Springfield Road near Kilcona Park. And it was moved location, so it was later along Springfield Road just by Day Street. So this North Transcona School was located along Springfield Road near Kilcona Park, and it was operated jointly by the North Springfield School District and the rural municipality of North Kildonan. The school was also locally known as the Beeman School in reference to the Beeman Post Office, which was in operation from 1914 to 1931, as well as the Beeman family. The Beeman name also helped to differentiate the school from the nearby North School in the Transcona School District that was sometimes identified incorrectly as the North Transcona School. Closed in 1952, it was replaced by the Prince Charles School, and as far as I know, no building remains today. And the Prince Charles School from 1952 to 1968 replaced the North Transcona School, and it was located near the junction of Springfield Road and Day Street. It was later sold and used as a private residence. The North Springfield School from 1877 to 1968. This image once again coming from the Manitoba Historical Society. And its location is way up here, north of Transcona, past the perimeter, right over here. The North Springfield School District was organized formally in September of 1876, with the residence of George Sutherland being utilized as a temporary school quarters while the schoolhouse was being built. The first school was built of concrete and measured 20 feet by 20 feet. It was located along Lorne Hill Road near Birds Hill Park. This structure was replaced by a new building opened on January 4th, 1898, along with an accompanying teacherage. The school was later expanded in the summer of 1917. A third and separate one-room structure known as the Lorne Hill School was erected nearby in 1957 for at least initially high school grades. But both the North Springfield School and Lorne Hill School operated until the summer of 1968, when the district became part of the larger Transcona Springfield School District, after which students attended class at Oak Bank. The North Springfield School was sold in 1972 and is now a private residence. Springfield School from 1911 to 1969. And this image here comes from our Transcona Museum archives. So that was the original building. This is the building that it was replaced with, and many of you may recognize it. This is the school that is in South Transcona. Another image here. As reference, so Transcona is up here to the north, the Transcona Yards, and then South Transcona with the location of the school right here. The Springfield School is also known as the South Springfield School, the South Transcona School, and Southside School. The Springfield School District was established in May 1911, and a two-story, four-room classroom was later built at this site on Copeland Street in South Transcona in 1920. Initially, classes were held from grades 1 to 5, and in later years, grades 9 to 11 were discontinued. By 1950, this building's integrity had deteriorated so much that it was condemned and demolished. And in 1955, the present one-story, four-room structure was built at the cost of around $35,000 and located just a few feet north of the original building. It adopted the South Springfield name after the original, which was the Montavista School, and it adopted the name after Montavista School closed. The district was dissolved in 1967, and its area became part of the Transcona Springfield School District. The school closed in June of 1970, and the building was used for a time as a facility for special needs students and later as storage by the school division. And as of 2019, the former school building still stands at the site and is used as a private residence. So that brings us to our question and answer period. So if you have any questions, please let us know. You can use the chat function. And this video, though it's live now, it will be posted onto our Facebook videos page. So if you have a question after the fact, you can always post it in the comment section, and we'll do our best to get to it then. So once again, if you enjoy these videos and other programs and events that we're doing, we ask that you please consider supporting the museum. Once again, you can consider making a donation or becoming a museum member. Both of these options are available through our website. You can support us by staying in touch. So you can visit us on our website at www.transconamuseum.mb.ca. You can follow us on social media. We're once again active on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We have a blog, and you can join our mailing list, which you can do through our website. And it is a monthly e-newsletter. We only send it out maybe once, 2 times max a month, so we don't spam your inbox. And some upcoming talks that we'll be doing for the rest of July and into August. So next Tuesday, July 14th at 1 o'clock is One Man, a Camera, and 20,000 Slides, a look into the J.R. Armour collection. July 21st at 1 o'clock, Power and History of the Insulator. And July 28th at 1 o'clock, Adventures in Heritage Cooking. In August, on Tuesday, August 11th at 1 o'clock, a virtual tour of the Transcona Cemetery. Tuesday, August 18th, a snapshot, a look through 1960s Transcona. And August 25th at 1 o'clock, what's missing from the collections. So you can RSVP on our website for the Zoom link and password, which is once again www.transconamuseum.mb.ca, or you can attend in person. The space is limited at this time to about 3 individuals, just due to the social distancing requirements needed for COVID. So if you do want to attend in person, you will need to RSVP for that ticket, available through our events page. And if you're watching live on Facebook, you can always join us live on Facebook and watch the video that way. But something fun to keep in mind, so for our Heritage Cooking talk that we'll be doing at the end of this month, we are inviting our listeners and public to bake along with us. So this is the recipe we are going to bake, and this comes from the 1964 Transcona News cookbook, and we've selected lemon slice. Looks pretty good and tasty. So we'll be cooking this, and then we'll be giving our thoughts and critiques during the talk. But if you want to make this lemon slice as well, we'll open up the talk in some fashion that day, and we'll hear your thoughts, your opinions, your stories on making a lemon slice. So it should be fun. And once again, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you'll join us again for our future small talks.